fucking iron.
Lady Smith, lock the fuck.
Someone left their baby.
Go Team Venture!
You guys like how I just sprung that one on you? Like mid-conversation, just hit start recording. It's pretty good, right?
I like it.
Yeah, it felt right. So hi, welcome to Binge Buddies. Eat it, Harvey. Matt is not going to step on another intro in the goddamn Die Hard franchise. It's not going to happen.
Good luck.
I'm going to talk white, bleh, and then I screwed it up. Now it's on me. We have Matt, Zombie Dog, Marge, Gunderson, Dykes.
Fargo.
There you go.
I was thinking, which one's that? But in my head, for some reason, I pictured what the hell's the actress's name? Margot Martindale. Margot Martindale is like who I pictured at first. I was like, no, it's
She's
not.
a cop and cocaine bear.
She is.
Yeah. This one's going to be a little bit more of a stretch. I mean, I think I would get it if I wasn't looking right at it, but I honestly don't know. But we'll see. We got Joel, Ed, Tom Bell, DeWitt.
You chose the wrong person to give that name to, because I've got no idea.
I knew Joel wasn't going to get out. Yeah, Matt.
You were lucky I got Dirty Harry last week. Let's be honest.
If his name wasn't Harry, would you have gotten it?
No.
Like if I just gave you like detective his last name, I don't even know his last name. No.
Callahan.
No. Okay, great. Callahan. So we also have Ryan Popeye Doyle Lutens.
Popeye Doyle.
French Connection.
Popeye Doyle.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. Yep. You guys know your movie cops way better than I would. Next week, I don't think I'd get.
Maybe not.
I've seen it once, and I only really watched it because the Chicago scene, but that's about it. Yeah, next week I wouldn't get any one of them either, but we'll find out next week if you guys get them. And now it actually has to be like 2 weeks to get them, not my normal like we'll talk in 5 minutes. We'll see.
I'm on pins. And
Anyhow, here we are. We're gonna podcast harder, podcast more,
Podcast.
Die Harder.
Podcaster
is the movie where. Yeah, podcaster. I'm not really sure. Matt brought up a very good point. I've always referred to this movie as Die Harder or Die Hard 2. The poster says it. IMDb does not. It just says Die Hard 2. But I've always seen it Die Harder.
Yeah.
Am I alone in this?
VHSs, the posters.
That's what I thought. Die Harder.
The actual like the DVDs, everything, like all those covers all say Die Hard 2, Die Harder. The film itself does not. So it's really weird. Right. Like the film title just comes up and says Die Hard 2. I don't know where the Die Harder comes from. It's so strange.
Maybe it's the trailer because I was watching the trailer a moment ago.
The trailer says it as well.
It does say Die Harder. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we're all about to watch it as soon as I can get it pulled back up again. I closed the tab like a fool. Like a fool, I say.
Hulu definitely had a Die Hard 2 as the tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's one of those things where it's like I don't know where this subtitle thing came from, like because it is not in the film.
Live, Die, Repeat.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Maybe. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
maybe they couldn't afford the effects of it saying Die Harder.
There wasn't enough screen space on the camera.
Yeah, maybe
that's the problem. Yep. You nailed it. We cracked the code. Screen space.
Need a bigger screen.
Yep. All right, here we go. We're gonna watch the trailer for Die Hard 2 together. Die Harder, maybe, possibly. We'll find out.
Find out.
Here we go. Can everybody hear it? No, because I'm not sharing it.
I can't even see anything.
Can't even see it. Can't even see it. I have to add it to the stage to make that work. There we go. How about now?
Yep.
Yes, now.
Can you tell the difference when John is here and when John's not here?
Leave the kids with your parents. Order some room service.
Can we hear it now?
Yep.
I see in about half an hour.
Yeah, this one leans way more in the Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Which is funny because the film doesn't.
There a cop
Yep.
on duty around here?
Airport police.
Let's go get him.
Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring.
I don't think
His
I like
ping-ponging
that.
back and forth the music is a little
Yeah.
What's this
aggressive.
about?
Yeah.
Just a feeling I have.
Ouch. When you get those feelings, insurance companies start to go bankrupt.
Hey, it's his one scene.
Lost control.
Basically showed the entire scene as well.
Yeah, they did.
Zero visibility.
Attention all controllers. We have a code.
I also don't get that whole like
There's panic in
when you
the
get
air.
that feeling. Insurance company. He's had it once.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, this is the third or fourth movie. I get it a little bit more, but
I suppose there's a year in between them. Maybe just every weekend he goes out and gets a feeling and like
I guess
he
that
is
could
now
be.
bankrupt.
You're right. We haven't seen the side missions.
yep.
Oh, we are just up to our neck in terrace again, John.
That was a T1000, right?
Police officer.
Yeah. Robert Patrick was in this.
Is John Leguizamo in this
It's
one?
just another
Yep.
Christmas.
That's the thing that I've been noticing, like looking through. Oh, look at him!
This
Oh, look
quick?
at him!
Wow, I missed him.
It was brief.
Yeah, very brief.
Quarter shells maybe 2 hours. After that, those planes low on fuel aren't going to be circling. They're going to be dropping on the White House lawn.
Any attempt.
Why on the White House
Your
lawn?
systems will be met by
Yeah, why are they flying over the White House?
Yeah, you're not supposed to fly there.
I was gonna say, isn't that a no-fly zone?
Life's plane.
I kept on predicting this took place in D.C. as I was watching it.
I did too.
Last time, it blew you through the back wall of the theater.
Oh, did it?
Cowboy right too rough. I don't like the
Sure
fly.
did.
What are you doing here?
I don't like the moves either.
It's such a
This
trailer
just shows
line.
the entire film, though.
Yeah.
It really does.
He's spoiling the twist.
Final confrontation.
That's
He's
the
spoiling
end of the film.
twist.
What you expected? No. This is just the beginning.
On July
No, it's not. You just showed the end of the film.
Go.
Bruce Willis, Die Hard 2.
So according to the trailer, it's called Die Harder, Die Hard 2.
And it's a Christmas movie that clearly
Opens
opens
in July.
on July 4th. Yeah.
Merry,
Hey, well,
Merry Christmas, Happy 4th.
Not my favorite trailer.
What was that Christmas film? The one with what's his face? Who like he forgets, like gets to see a world where he didn't exist. Fucking hell!
Oh, Family
It's a
Man.
Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
That's supposedly a Christmas film, but that didn't come out in Christmas. It came out like July or summer or something like that, or March.
I mean, that one's definitely a Christmas film. We're not getting into this again.
Oh, the weather outside is sorry.
So this one, I would argue, like there is an argument to be made that the first one's a Christmas film. This one is 100% just
Christmas movie.
no, just a film set at Christmas. It doesn't
Oh,
need
yeah.
to be at Christmas. It doesn't.
Solid call.
There's nothing.
Sure.
The only thing that it needs to be is set at a time where it's snowing in a certain area in America. That's it. It doesn't. There is nothing that puts it specifically in the concept of the story why it has to be Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, unless they're trying to use like airports being more crowded, so it's easier to like hide in crowds. But like you can do that any weekend ever.
Yeah, but they
So-
don't really. Well, they are actually terrorists in this one. The terrorists
they're
don't
legit
really.
terrorists. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they don't really hide in the airport. Really,
Yeah.
like they're in there for the opening thing, but they don't really. They're not hiding out in the airport.
They're not even hiding in the opening. They're just walking in the open. Like he talks
Well, yeah.
to John McClane. Like, hey, I recognize you. Yeah, I've been on TV. Like,
Yeah,
full blown talks.
and it's like, yeah, me too. It's like, what is this? This is the thing that annoys me about this film. Like watching it through again and actually paying more attention to these sort of things. The first one did a really good job of like setting up stuff with like genuine reasons for why it happens and like a good explanation with like a visual setup or a line of dialogue or whatever. This film is just like, oh, how convenient, oh, what a coincidence, and just kind of lets it go. Like the whole thing, like how McClane gets involved in this is he spots those two people having their little exchange and sees a gun poking out in a shoulder holster, but he's got to be like, I mean, he must be like 100 feet away from them.
the tie-in of John McClane in this one is really like right place, right time, looking in the right way at the right moment. Like it's just so many like
it's tenuous. It's really tenuous.
Coincidences.
Yeah, this is this will really pushes your what is it? Suspension of disbelief. Like this one really pushes those boundaries. I mean, I still have fun with this movie. I don't think it's bad, but
I don't think it's a bad film. I just think to be fair, it's always going to be tough to follow a film as good as Die Hard.
Sure,
it's going to be very difficult. Like we've said that about when we did the Terminator series. Like coming off of Terminator 2 was really going to be difficult because you've got. I mean, with that one, it's like you're coming off of two exceptional films. And then, like, with Terminator 3, they still did a really good film, but it wasn't as good as the second one. So it feels a lot worse than it actually does. So I think there's maybe that sort of element here of, like, it's not as good as the first one, so it feels more nitpicky. But then again, there are genuine issues with this one.
There's way more to actually nitpick in this one. And this one has the problem that I really hate saying this. Like, obviously, I like action movies. I've always liked action movies. It's not my number one genre I go for usually. I'm usually more of a horror guy. Clearly, I'm wearing a Friday the 13th shirt today. But, like, there's something that's kind of fun about them. But this one, it just has... I don't know how to phrase it. It has trouble holding my attention. I always find myself tuning out while watching this movie. At some point or another, I'm like, wait, what's going on again? Like, I every time I watch it. I don't know why... And this time I even tried, like, this was the first time I've approached it, like, from, like more of a critical eye. Like, I need to pay attention. And I still had the moments, like, when they're in the, what action sequence? Pretty early on where, like, it's a whole bunch of people wearing black shooting at each other. Like, they have that, like, the fake, like, moving walkway in between.
Oh, the Annex Skywalk.
Yeah. And, like, I'm watching that sequence, I'm like, I don't remember which side's the bad guy. Like, they're both wearing basically the same thing. And I've totally forgotten who I'm rooting for in this entire sequence. Like, I'm rooting for John McClane, but beyond that, I
Is it the baggage claim or the one where they're on the skywalk to get the antenna array? Where they're acting like they're painters? Or is it the one where he catches them doing
earlier in the movie?
Yeah. So it's the two guys in the baggage.
No, because there's a whole bunch of people there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Annex Skywalk. If there's a lot of them there, it's the Annex Skywalk.
There's a lot of them there. Yeah, there's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
It's a really well done action sequence.
SWAT team. It is a really good. Like, although it does, that is the action sequence that has the most obvious dummy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's the one where the T-1000 dies. That's
the
I'm talking
That's the Annex Skywalker. What I'm going to say about this movie in terms of what you're saying, Brian, is I just don't like how the movie just drops you in, and it drops you in at the worst possible time because he's getting his car towed, but he's running out like, oh, don't tow my car. But like, how long has he been here? What is going on?
Yeah.
And also, how does he know that they're towing his car?
Right, especially if he's in the terminal. Now, granted, it is pre 9/11, so there's a lot of things that you could just walk in and out of, but it's not
still
that. They're introducing characters just to introduce characters. We talked about how this movie forces a lot of things. This is one of them. Oh, look at this character who comes up later. It's the brother of another asshole cop.
Yeah, that cop just keeps coming back up, and like I did not enjoy the returning gag. Like, I mean, I get it that there's a cop that annoys this cop who's very annoying to bad guys, but it's still like every time he popped up, I'm like, okay. And then the end of the movie, oh, why don't you meet my brother? I'm like, oh my god, this guy.
But it's every single one of the airport cops seem to annoy John McClane though. Like,
that's true.
He makes out that they're these, like, you know, the movie makes out that like these airport police officers are like super incompetent and don't know what they're doing at all. But like, if you look at the setup they've got there, they've got like an entire SWAT team as well. Like, you know, it's basically an entire police department for an airport.
A SWAT team for an airport.
Yeah.
Which I mean, buy like, post 9/11, but you know, in 1990. Which granted, for how much this movie says it's the 90s, it's 1990. Calm down.
Yeah, I know. Like, wake up and smell the 90s. It's literally 1990. Like, it's just like yes, you are smelling the 90s. They're just starting.
I mean, I know you're 12 months in, but you still got another 10 years to go. You can chill.
We filmed in 1989. Damn it.
This movie follows the wrong path of thinking everything needs to be bigger. Like, bigger is better.
Yeah.
You know, we go from Nakatomi Plaza, this really small by comparison constrained place that they're all stuck in and they're unavoidable from each other, to this grander scale hijacking and craziness going on that makes it searching for a needle in a haystack that I don't think I love. I think it is the wrong direction, at least for
it tries to keep that claustrophobic feeling of the first one as well, but it's a claustrophobic, like the reason the first one's so claustrophobic is because it's an office building. It's like, you know, there's a lot of small spaces, whereas with this one it's like, well, it's an airport. There's famously a lot of wide open spaces, and like, you know, they keep trying to do the claustrophobic thing, and like, you know, the idea of like the sequel it's one of the worst sort of offenders of sequels just being a retread of the original. Yeah. Because it is basically just trying to redo the original, just in a slightly different building. It's a much bigger building. Whereas the third one does something really different with it, which like
is way bigger. Like,
which works so much better because it's not just rehashing the first one. Like, you know, there's lines in it, like there's a line in this film that actually, like, I've never picked up on it, and I picked up on it this time watching it more closely, and it actually pissed me off. McClane goes, another basement, another elevator.
Oh, that
they should have in the same.
He's not in the basement in the first
He's
one.
never in the fucking basement in the first film. He's famously doesn't go below like the 30th floor. He goes above it the entire time. Like I saw that, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You weren't in the basement in the first one.
We're done. We're moving on.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, guys. Like,
but that's my point. Like, it's that sort of thing of like, it's constantly reminding us, oh, this is the second time. Like, you know, the wrong. It's like the same. How can the same shit happen to the same guy twice? Like, but it's just.
It's a little too overt.
Yeah, it's a lot of like winking at the camera, going again, and it's like.
And it doesn't.
I mean, that's fine, but. Thank you. But like the problem is there is legitimately good stuff here that gets kind of lost in that like sequelitis. Like William Sadler's villain is legit. I really like William Sadler just on his own. I think he's a very underrated character actor. He is just usually perfect wherever he pops up. This is one of my favorite roles of him. He is great. He is terrifying. Like he understood the job of trying. You're never going to be Hans Gruber, but you need to be this level of villain. And he went, got it. And he went and did it. He was great.
I can imagine like he had one note from the director, and he's basically like, I want you to scare everyone. And you can see it in his eyes. Like the bit where he crashes that plane, and he's like, you know, saying, we got you. We got you, and the plane's crashing, and he's listening to the screams over the radio, and he's got this like dead eye stare, and he just goes, "We got you." It's like, fuck me, he's terrifying,
brutal. Yeah, like that is. Joel has a cat.
He's in this room, and he's been harassing me, so I'm asking him.
Yeah, he does not look harassed. He looks like he got what he wants.
Like one of your French girls, Joe.
Joel. Wow, I said Joe.
Did you call him Joe?
I did. Yeah, I did.
I've lost the thread now. There's a cat.
Oh, is that too distracting?
I was going to say...
No, it's fine. I was a very big fan of the movie Flow, and now seeing a cat, I'm like, oh, like Flow. Anyhow, back to Die Hard. William Sadler. Him crashing the plane, like it is that it's exactly what Joel said a moment ago of like there's too much of this like and more but bigger. Like this is the Hans Gruber shooting the dude in the face. This is that moment of like, look at how fucking evil I am. But it still works almost as effectively as the Hans Gruber thing, because he doesn't kill one dude. He crashes a plane full of innocent people, including an actor that I really liked who was the pilot. Like I forget his name, but that guy's great.
Palomini.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys clearly knew exactly who I was talking about, but he's great. And then he's not.
I know him from Star Trek. He's in Deep Space Nine.
Hell on Wheels for me.
I don't remember what I know him from, but I know him. Honestly, I know him from Star Trek because of my wife. I'm not a big Star Trek guy, but I know him from other movies I like him in too. He's great. He's awesome, and he dies real quick in this one. But I love that sequence, like that. It's that moment that you're always afraid of happening throughout the entirety of the first Die Hard, of like the bad guys actually doing something truly horrible to a lot of people. And McClane is able to stop it throughout the majority of the first film. There's a few people die here and there, but for the most part, he saves the day. This one, he fails. He didn't get there.
Yeah.
He tries to stop the plane. He doesn't get there. He's on the runway with the torches, doing his best to get him to pull up. Can't do it. Plane crashes, and it like phantasm level blows up. Like it booms.
Mm-hmm.
Which I have an issue with as well, because the plane's supposedly basically out of fuel. So what's blowing up?
Like sadness. All the sadness is exploding.
The end one, that's fine, because it's just been fueled up. It's fully fueled. That would explode like that. But one where there's barely any fuel in it, it'd just like go pop.
I mean, it would just kind of like fall into like break apart like Legos, just very bloody Legos. But you know what? It's a cool explosion.
It is.
So I'm gonna let it slide.
But that's the thing as well. Like that sequence as well. Like, you know, of McClane failing. Like Bruce Willis does a really good job of selling like the sort of like just how
failure.
Yeah, basically like the sort of like the trauma. It's not so much. Is it trauma? I guess it is trauma.
I mean, it's traumatic. Yeah, like
I guess the trauma that he's having, like on his own, of that, just like the bit where he's laid down in the snow and he's just like, and it's just then after that, and he's just got this like dead eye, just staring out into nothingness while everyone's sort of like moving around, and it's really well done, and I think that's one of the reasons why this one like. It's still got those moments that work really well. So like the sort of the sequelitis bits of it just rehashing a lot of stuff. I can still kind of watch this one and not think it's like garbage or anything like that, because there is still a lot of those moments in it where it's just like, that's
the sequelness holds it back from being like a truly great film, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad action film. Like it's still a lot of fun. And it still does do some of the stuff the first one did well. Like you do still round out some of the characters. Not all the characters is three-dimensional as the first one, but we still have like Harvey, the Harvey, right? Harvey, the janitor.
Marvin the janitor.
Yeah, he's a great character. Like he's really fun. Like he shows up in the right moments. Like he's just like he's there to kind of give you that reprieve we talked about in the first one we got from like the reporter. This one we kind of get it from him. He's just kind of funny. Like we have that moment where he finds the radio and he's like, I want to take this. Like, how about you give me $20 for it? How about I'll let you live?
Yeah.
And knows how to bargain.
I love that moment. Like it's so good is that.
Marvin's the best comic relief. He legit, like every time he's in, he steals the show.
Yeah.
You're going to mess up my whole filing system. Now, P.
Is that under A? Or P for Pirates Regional? Whatever under M for miscellaneous.
You'll mess up the whole system.
But those are just some small details that give this character so much personality.
Yeah.
The fact that he's a janitor that has all of these maps. Like so many maps.
Yeah, just like the blueprints of like I'm guessing they're like throughout the years as well, because there's so many of those. Like
the new terminal hasn't even been built, and he's got
his map.
He's got a blueprint of it. Yeah.
Which just makes me think that he's out there stealing blueprints.
I mean, like he's stealing everything else. Like, hey, I found a coat.
I found that one.
Hey, you want this coat? Like,
it's like it walks in like, hey, I found this suitcase just lying. There's people. Where's my case gone? I literally turned my back for 5 minutes.
Janitor got it.
2 seconds.
You gotta watch out for that janitor. He'll get your shit.
Is he like the Jason where he's like, you know, when Jason pops around from the tree, he's just like hiding behind pillars in the airport, like going, ooh, there's a case there. Mine.
Is that bag unattended?
He ain't gonna call anybody. He gonna take it.
Yep. Which I will say, this past Christmas when I went back to the Midwest, I saw my first ever unattended bag taken away by police. That was something. Like a police officer came out, she's like, "Is this your bag?" We're like, "No." It's like, "All right, we're taking it."
Thanks.
It happens. I had no idea. They always say it's going to happen. I've never seen it happen.
I always picture, because they always say like, "We'll take it away and destroy it." I always picture that like there's just someone with a big rocket launcher, just like just down the terminal, just firing at the unattended case.
Their bag.
We got a bag. Yes.
It's go time.
It's the whole reason I got this job.
Bolt the rocket launcher to the floor, like in Die Hard. We have come full circle.
Anyhow, back to Die Hard. Let's just take a quick break with everything else we're doing. Let's talk the plane, the Holly's plane, and the plot line that goes virtually nowhere until the very end, where they make it work for something. I guess the amount of
build up.
I guess
mental gymnastics.
Yeah,
the mental gymnastics to put them both on the same plane, because he's now working for a news station in Washington as well. This is
he's got a news station.
A restraining order that shouldn't matter up in the air.
Nope, not at all. And then for me, the bigger one is do you have your recording equipment? I sure do. Okay, with that, I'm gonna be able to patch into the radio
in the cockpit.
How? We're not allowed to have mobile phones turned on. How are you using a full radio transceiver system that you can then patch into the cockpit radio frequency?
Yeah,
he's got it plugged in. He's got it plugged into the landline that the phones are connected to. Done.
Sure.
The 90s.
It is the 90s.
The phones are not connected to a landline because they're in the air. Do you think there's a cable running from the plane?
The cable's just being dragged by the...
Just a really long cable.
You gotta hope you have the right length. It's gonna get ripped out.
Is that why houses underneath flight paths are cheaper? Because there's always a cable hitting them on the head or something.
How do you think they figure out the return flight?
Yeah. Follow the telephone cord back.
Reel. Yeah.
Oh my god, that was a tangent I did not expect, but I am so happy it happened.
I loved every minute of it. Because this movie is so blatant about 90s.
I mean, I got nothing. This one really doesn't work. And I get it. They want to have him in the movie. They wanted the same guy be the same sort of thing. He's there. He breaks the news story again. People hate him for it again. But it's just
because he's mass panic this time. There's a big difference between.
He probably gets people killed this time.
People got trampled. People got trampled. I saw a bunch of extras get trampled.
People get thrown through glass.
And it's what did he really accomplish by breaking that news story? Nothing.
He wants to go to network. He's a sleazeball.
Yeah, he's not gonna.
He's also an idiot. He thought he was going to get a Pulitzer Prize for this.
Thanks, Dick
man. And no, I don't blame the actor. I think the actor did fine with it. I just don't think the storyline was really there.
I think that the problem is
it's
the rehashed nature of it. It's the forcing of Powell in. I don't mind Powell so much because it kind of makes sense that he needs someone to run the Prince, and now that he's an LAPD officer,
the police officers aren't working with him locally, so he's got to reach out to someone. The believing that a fax machine in the 90s would send
fingerprint
a fax of a fingerprint so good that you can run it.
Oh yeah, that he drew circles around, but over the actual if you actually look at the thing that he's done, he's drawn a circle straight through the fingerprint. So how's that gonna work?
I also like that the woman working the desk tries to hit on him after this. This dude just basically told you, "I'm dumb," and you're like, "Yeah, but you're hot."
Even the other news lady from the first movie, Coleman, she makes a pass at him.
Yeah, different character.
I'll have your baby, and he goes, "Not the ride I'm looking for."
Different character as well. It's different actor as well. Yeah. The actor who plays the newsreader, the female newsreader in the first Die Hard film, is the psychiatrist from the Lethal Weapon films.
I never put that together.
It's different. It's not the same person. They look similar though. I didn't see the similarity.
The look in the first one?
Yeah.
That's the mom from Monster Squad.
It is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is.
You're welcome.
But yeah.
Great. Anyhow, let's
and to be fair, she says that she'd have his baby only because of the story he's giving her. It's not you're so hot. It's oh, you give me this story. This is an amazing story.
I think what we're getting.
I don't think that's a fair trade. No.
No. I think what it's getting down to is the fact that this movie just it loses the idea of plot in terms of these bigger, broader action sequences.
Yeah.
Which some of them are very good, But man, when you're trying to force things down and trying to be organic like it was with the first one, everything just seemed to flow. You're jamming all these cameos in, and you're having these, archetypes in, and it seems befuddled. That's a good way to say it. It's befuddled. It doesn't have the same flow as the first movie, and I'm sorry. I just, some of these archetypes just don't work. Like the lead engineer for the tower. Every time he was on screen, I was like, someone get this guy some acting lessons. He can't do it.
He wasn't great. But and that's kind of the problem with the movie over and over is there is a very interesting and fun action film of these terrorists trying to get their leader freed, and the leader, he's not great either, and he kind of forget about him halfway.
I don't even know why he's such a big leader. All he did was use drug money to. Oh, I see what he did there.
But but I kind of forgot about him halfway through the movie because they don't really do anything with him. Then he's there at the end again. It's okay, I guess this works.
All he can do is fly a plane.
Yeah,
I mean the thing with it is I think it's supposed to be a commentary on the Iran-Contra situation.
Yeah, sure.
But it's even at that point, it's a fair few years after that had come out as well. It just. And it's not if that's what you're going for, great, but lean more into that. Give us more of that
100%.
because there's no real you get a few throwaway moments about it, but there's no real reasoning as to why they're doing, because it's he was so strong to stand up to communist dictatorship, blah 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 blah. That's why we love him. It's but why are you throwing your careers away to break this guy out?
They mentioned communism one time, and in 1990, that the fall of the communist bloc, that should have been a bigger play. They mentioned communism one time. It would make more sense if they would have ran with that and had it be a broader thing. But it's no, he's just a guy that we're going to back up in any regime.
Yeah. It doesn't really make sense.
I had to take a picture of our cat. That's all.
And like you said, Ryan, as well, 1990, this is the Cold War's basically over at this point.
Yeah.
So why do we give a shit about communism?
Yep.
Really? Why is the big bad wolf communism still
It's always communism.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes back to communism at some point or another. But I agree with what you're saying at large. I don't know how else to fit this to make this really work for the William Sadler's motivations, because otherwise there's not really much more there. So he needed something, and this works. But then it gets us to sequences where they really when they try to kill John McClane in this movie. I almost said McCain.
He's been taken care of. Don't worry.
I don't even understand what they're doing after they get this general. What are they? They have these
moments where he stands there and gives this sort of motivational speech that's meant to be sort of his manifesto, and you still listen to it and think, I still don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're gonna go relax on a beach after you've done what? You've got no money.
Yeah, what are you? Either way,
dude had drug money, but he was in jail, so he's not getting any of that back.
Yeah, it's not like he's got his drug money with him.
Right.
Yeah. They didn't let him take that carry on.
Although they did let him have a cigar on the flight.
But either way, what I'm getting, so when they get to the point where they are able to get him out, and John McClane is there, and you have that great moment where he's like, I'm out, and no, you're not. And then they try to kill John McClane, and holy hell, do they try to kill him? I just love that. Do we have any grenades? Yeah, use them, and they just start hucking them in.
That's 9 grenades.
Yeah,
so many grenades.
The problem is though, they use the grenades with the 35-second fuses. So
oh my god, those fuses, and they all wait for each other too. It's I'm here. I got my 30. Oh, there's more. I'll wait. I can hold on.
I got the 35-second fuse one here. Okay, throw that one first, then throw the 30-second one, then I'll throw a 25-second fuse. It's gonna look great.
It's gonna be awesome when they finally all go off together. Hopefully, he doesn't find the ejector seat in there. Oh, he did. There he goes.
Did. He's flying through the air. Why did they just shoot him out in the air? Oh, because the ambulances were coming. Ambulances, because ambulances can stop terrorists.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they weren't.
Also, it's quite difficult to how high up he went. It would have been very difficult to actually shoot him accurately.
I mean,
they only had submachine guns. They didn't have a rifle.
In theory, they could have shot the parachute and have him tumble.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, those things aren't meant to go off on land. Like, he's lucky it went high enough.
Well, yeah, that's true. Like, those ejector seats are not supposed to push you like hundreds of, like thousands of feet in the air for a parachute to fully deploy. They're supposed to just push you up far enough away so you don't.
Yeah,
like,
so you
crash
clear the
into
plane. Yeah, like, it's like.
Imagine if this was actually played true to life and it just a shot and you're just like, oh crap.
It just goes up and then down straight away.
That was a good thought process, I guess. But either way, there goes John McClane.
He's just laying in this, like, strapped in this seat on the ground, just like, ah! And then William Sadler just comes up and goes, that was a good idea, was it?
Yeah.
And the parachute shoots out of the back.
No, just leave a grenade with him while he's stuck in
the
the chair.
terrorist running underneath the parachute. I got it.
Oh man, that's good.
Like, this film, it uses a lot of the action cliches as well.
Yes.
Like, it uses a lot more of the ones that Die Hard did. Like, you know, John McClane's pistol is also, like, you know, can open a padlock. Like,
yep.
You know, it just. No, like, that's not gonna happen. Like, if anything, that's gonna ricochet off and maybe go in his arm or something. Like,
yeah.
You know, you need proper, like, steel breaching irons to get through stuff like that. And it's, I don't know. It feels more just like an action movie where they put the McClane character into it rather than the kind of action film that Die Hard was.
Well, because you even have things like, if you're talking about cliches, like you get the army shows up, like okay, this is getting out of control, which it is, and then the army shows up and oh, we don't like John McClane. Now we're doing things for John MCClane. Like, hold up.
Yeah,
I feel a betrayal coming, and then curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. Like,
there's one bit of setup in this film that I picked up on. Like, you know, we talk about, like, Die Hard is like, it's got so much setups and payoffs.
Yep.
There's, throughout the film, there's all of them. There is one in it, and there's a line of dialogue at the very beginning where it's Colonel Stewart and Garber, who's his, like, number 2 guy. And he says something about, like, a last minute personnel change, but it should be fine. Which is Telford, the younger guy on Colonel Stewart's team, where they cut his throat.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, that is the one setup and payoff that I've picked up on. And I've seen this film a lot as well. Like, I've seen it, not as much as Die Hard, but I've seen it a good, like, 10, 12 times or something. And it just, like, it's like, even without that, there is still this kind of, like, curse your inevitable betrayal feeling going on there. Like, you know, why do they have blue tape on the rifle things? We've seen the weapons that the other guys have got red tape. Maybe that means something. Oh, they're changing their magazines to blue tape ones. Which also, by the way, you can't do that. You can't just, like, you know, swap out live ammunition for blanks. Like, it doesn't work that way. You have to put an adapter on it for the blanks to actually cycle the thing. Like,
well, but these are the terrorist guns.
Yeah, oh, right. Yeah, sorry.
You gotta remember terrorist guns. Yeah, magical terrorist guns. That's.
Yeah.
I love the way John McClane reveals that, though, to Carmine. He's just like, oh, yeah? Pop, 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 pop.
Oh, he's dead. Though.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a dozen
five
police
or six
officers
police
lining
officers
him up right behind him.
And they're just like, do we pull our triggers or what?
Like, in real life, John McClane does that and he gets lit up by, like, 5 or 6 police officers in there.
Well, two things. Blanks also shoot stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
like they don't shoot
be too
bullets.
close to a blank.
like, if you didn't understand that blanks shoot stuff, just go watch In Bruges. It's one of my favorite moments in any movie. Shoots a blank right in the guy's eye. That eye doesn't work anymore.
I mean, I've seen, like, there was a behind this, I think it was from Doom or something, where, like, a guy takes a blank converted gun and he puts it on a dummy and he, like, pulls the trigger and it just, like, the whole dummy is, like, the face on it that is, like, torn apart or something. It's like, yeah, that's why you don't go really close to people and shoot blanks.
Yeah, I guess. It doesn't just mean they just make they don't turn guns into cap guns. They're still guns.
There's still a lot of, like, fire coming out of there and, like, you know, some sort of concussive force. It's a very weird way of doing it as well. Like, you know, John McClane in Die Hard would not do that because,
no,
like,
well, I mean, he did throw a dead body out of a cop car.
That's different though. Like he's not in a police station surrounded by armed police officers.
That's true. That's
firing a gun at their boss. Like,
yeah, that was a bold swing to make sure everyone knew what was going on. Everyone immediately went, "Oh, those are clearly blanks."
Hey, no, I know they're blank. Look, the blue tape.
Yeah.
You know what? Some of us need markers like that because we're dumb.
You're not dumb, Joel.
I didn't know they were blanks at first. Just saying.
I didn't know but there's something about it. Like the reason they're changing the ammunition. Like there's something behind it.
I've seen movies enough to know, like, if you're switching ammunition and they both have a different color, there's something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've seen enough
movies to know better at this point.
I've seen enough movies to know that if you are switching ammunition for no reason, there's something different about that as well. Like,
yeah, like it's not like what's the name of that? Not Western. Hell or High Water, where at the end of the movie where Ben Foster's like unloads an entire gun. He switches ammo a lot because they counted bullets in that movie, and he's like actually changing because he needs to change. He's out of bullets.
Yeah, right. He's just shot the gun as well. They're just standing around like, oh wait, I'll change. I'll remove this magazine.
These movies like. They have a bazillion bullets in every single gun until they need to change to blanks. Like that's a pretty good.
Yeah.
It's even in that scene when it shows a close up of the guy walking around and all the shells are there. But like, wow, they really fired a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like more shell casing than floor. Visible.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is a bold decorating choice they've made for this airport. Shell casing instead of carpet.
The right shells for what was fired?
It was the right shell casings for the terrorist guns. There was a lot of 9mm casings on there, but like the SWAT team had
not a Glock 7.
Rifles,
not a Glock 7,
not a porcelain Glock 7.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but I was avoiding bringing it up. But that everything he says in that is wrong. Like, it's made in Austria, not Germany. It's not porcelain. It's a polymer frame. It's also still got steel. And like, even if it was a fully polymer gun, like the polymer that's used is so thick it would still set off X-ray detectors anyway. But also, 17 rounds of 9mm ammunition is gonna set off a metal detector as well. Like,
no, those are porcelain bullets.
Yep.
Yeah, they're just porcelain bullets. Ow! What was that? But like everything,
shooting sharp confetti at people
is wrong. Like, he calls it a Glock 7. No, doesn't exist. Like, it says it's porcelain. Nope. It says it's made in Germany. Nope. Like, all of that is wrong. Like, it just, and that's one of the things. It just, I have seen so many things like reference Glocks. Oh, well, they're invisible to X-rays. Like, did you watch Die Hard 2? It's like nobody's gonna make a commercially available gun that is invisible to X-rays anyway. Like,
no, I feel like that'd be illegal in most countries. Like even those 3D printed guns, they still show up in X-rays because they're still the shape of a fucking gun.
And it's also like, because like for like any sort of like plastic or something to withstand the pressure that a firearm is under and not just immediately explode, it has to be so densely packed. And it's like X-ray machines are not like and metal detectors. They don't go on like metal. They're not saying, there's metal here. They're going on like the denseness of the molecules.
Yeah.
And that's how it sort of like it sees things more clearly. So it would still show up on an X-ray machine.
Are
you saying this movie's not accurate?
I
am. Pet theory: John McClane wouldn't know about an international gun like that one way or another. He was bullshitting them to try to make his way through to get help.
Brian, he got the brand right, I guess. Brian, but yeah, like it is really weird as well, especially when he says like it costs more than you make in a month. They're not that expensive at Glocks either. They're cheaper than his Beretta.
But these magical ones are.
If he doesn't know and he's saying BS, look, all I'm saying is I don't want China shrapnel in me, and I feel like that'd be a very dangerous thing to be shot at with one way or another.
Brian, this movie script isn't even rational because it says that he was in a basement in the first movie.
Oh, I forgot about the basement, yeah.
Like, I've already ranted about that.
Yeah.
Like, earlier on, I had a rant about that.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this.
Do you know what? Let's
wrap this thing up.
I have to say that it is so nice to be able to rant about a film Like having done the first Die Hard, where a lot of it's like it's difficult to nitpick.
Yeah, that
it's
was
nice to be able to do like a good old rant.
Well, it's nice to do it without feeling gross the entire time.
Yeah.
That too. Like, yeah,
Going
that
back a few weeks on that one, but yeah. Nobody wants to rewatch the Nightmare franchise?
No.
Kelly was
I'm
very
good.
disappointed.
You
by
know,
the
guys, I didn't get to share my thoughts on the remake. Just saying, we could always revisit.
No.
Moving on.
All right, let's talk about the end of this movie, because the end of this movie really pops off.
It does.
If you like, and I
pretty much from the church onwards, it kind of doesn't really slow down.
No, and
there's
like
a little bit in the airport where he's like getting the troops lined up, but apart from that, it's just good. It's just off to the races. It's like fully just like
to the point where we're jumping out of helicopters onto the wings of a plane. Just complete bananas bullshit, but it's fun, and I
don't like
it.
to lose.
Yeah,
but
like
you believe it though, because you can see clearly that someone is jumping out of a helicopter onto a plane.
Yeah.
It's not miniatures. It's not like I mean,
I
there's
believe it's
wire work
happening
going on there, but you can't see the wires as well.
I believe it's happening in this movie, but I do have the whole like, is this the same runway from Fast and Furious? Like they're just on that thing forever, and they're never getting speed because there's a coat in the plane. Like there's a lot that you have to like. Okay, but like I
don't
get
think
it.
it's the speed. I think it's the fact that they can't. The flaps are not engaging, so he's intentionally not throttling up, so they can so they're going slower, so they've got more runway.
They have to go pretty. Runways aren't that long. He'd have to be going pretty damn slow to the point where they won't need the helicopter. You can just walk up to it and hop on. Like there's a lot of like that. They suspension of disbelief is.
They went on the extra large runway. It was a 747 cargo conversion. They need 2 miles of runway,
if not more, because they're on that thing for a while.
Yeah.
But it's a fun action sequence. How the plane could still take off after having a person go through the engine is news to me. There's a lot.
Oh yeah, like that person goes through the engine. That engine just like is shredded. Like a bird goes through an engine, and you've got to turn back to the airport usually.
Yeah, but a whole human, like we're made of a lot of meat, like a lot of meat,
and bones.
Yeah, all that other stuff too. Like that thing's not just gonna be like, we're good. I'm like, no, it's not a juicer. Like, and even juicers you have to clean.
Even Jason Voorhees would be like, I can't use that as a weapon.
Yeah,
just break.
Yeah, that one's not great. But I like the sequence. I like the fighting. I like all of it. I like him falling off the plane and like grabbing the fuel line as he goes. Like, all that's great. It leads up to like the rehash line, but I'm okay with it. It works.
Yep.
It worked better. It really only works great in the first one, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the delivery in this one is quite good though, because it's just like he's laid on the ground and he just like gets the lighter and just like yippee-ki-yay motherfucker and just throws a lighter in. Like I like the line delivery.
It's good.
It's out of play. It starts to become a catchphrase, whereas it wasn't a catchphrase. It was specifically about like they had the cowboy talk. He'd mentioned about Roy Rogers. Roy Rogers used to say yippee-ki-yay or yippee-ki-yay and all that stuff.
I didn't care for it, and now I'm worried that it's going to get really tiring by the end of this.
Oh, it's in every one of them.
It's
although they do stop saying fucker because the movie's turned into PG-13, so it turns like yippee-ki-yay motherfucker.
It's forced now, so we have that forced, and then we have another forced line of look, Holly, your landing lights.
Oh yeah,
it's like look, lights. Oh, we're following too.
That to me sounds
a nice, neat bow.
That sounds like ADR as well. That sounds like the audience won't know what's going on. Put a line in here. Thank you, studio. The audiences have a bit more brain.
They have the shot where it's like 4 or 5
planes
coming in, maybe like a football field size apart, and it's like that. Yeah, that's bad.
That's going to end
in the
poorly.
snow. In the snow and ice. Like if the first plane has problems, you're causing a traffic jam.
Well, that's the thing. So there's an airport the airport in Amsterdam it's one of the busiest airports in the world. It's definitely the most busiest airport in Europe. I think it's one of the most in the world. But they have like planes coming into land every 20 seconds or something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But everything's very precisely calculated. Like, you're on this runway, you're on that runway. It's not like the planes are all landing on the same runway and stopping on the runway as well, and not just like lining up on the runway. Like, that was the thing that I was thinking then when watching it this time. I was like, okay, there's a hell of a lot of snow there. That plane is like, you can see all the snow that it's kicking out. It's struggling to get past there. It's going to get to a point where no more planes can fit there. Like,
yep. And at the end, when it pulls away after everything is all said and done, they're all just kind of parked nilly-willy.
Oh yeah, they're all just fine. Yep.
And they're right in the middle of the runway too, so no other planes that are circling. Like, there's shots when they look out and they see all the planes circling. You just got like 4 or 5 just sitting there blocking the rest of the runway.
They don't talk. They're just like, oh yeah, we can all land the planes now. It's fine. It's like, no, take back the controls and turn the fucking runway lights on, because the flame's not going to keep burning forever.
Yep. Jet fuel only has a certain half-life there, Skippy.
Because that's just an even bigger disaster.
Yeah, but terrorists.
5 seconds after the end credits fade to black, it's just like a plane comes and just like crashes.
You just hear a whole bunch of car crap.
If that had been the credits, just hearing
You're coming in too fast.
And McClane's just driving away. I did it. I saved the day.
Marv's just waving.
Christmas.
Well, Marv's driving him.
Yep.
Oh god.
I made the mistake of going on IMDb and my computer froze again. Mine really doesn't. My stream does not like IMDb. Whenever I open IMDb, my entire stream's like, whoop, nope, we're done. Stop. But yeah, let's
just open it on your phone then.
Oh, yeah, I do have my phone right here, don't I?
What is this thing to my right?
It's the 90s.
Sworn this was just.
And on that, good night.
Well done. Well done.
Did you get that?
All right, so here's my quotes. I'm going to go first because mine's coming. I'm quoting a roommate of mine, not the movie itself, because I watched this with a roommate of mine back in the day when I was in college. And what he said made me laugh so fucking hard. He was very drunk. Very, very drunk. And I put on Die Hard 2, and the first time I ever saw it. And it's when they catch, what's his name? The main villain. I've been saying his name the whole time, and now I can't forget it. William
Sadler.
William Sadler. Sees him in the airport, and the reporter goes, "Can I have a word?" And he goes, "You can have 2. Fuck and you." And my drunk roommate goes, "That's 3, bitch!" And it just made me laugh really, really hard. So that's my quote for Die Hard 2.
So is your quote what your friend said, or
definitely what my
line
friend
in the
said?
film? Yeah, okay,
definitely
cool.
what my friend said.
Just clarifying.
It was inspired by Die Hard 2, and I'm using it. It works.
How likely is that going to end up in your top 5 once we're?
It will not, because I'll get too much of a stickler on my own rules. But otherwise, it would have.
We'll let you have that one as a
no honorable mentions.
So mine is it's towards the end. It's when Dick is on the phone and he's talking. He's doing his live broadcast thing, and it's just how sort of like narcissistic he's been. And it's like, but at least the truth is not among the hostages, because I, Richard Thornburg, just happened to be here to put his life and talent on the line for humanity and country. And if this should be my final broadcast, and Holly comes in and just zaps him with the taser and just looks him down and goes, "Amen to that, Dick."
I love that the grandma has a taser in her purse.
Oh yeah.
I used to have pepper spray, and now I got this, and pulls it right out.
I tried it on my little dog.
She tased her dog.
Poor thing, he lived for a week.
If she was still alive, she could run for public office and probably win. There's a reference for you for those U.S. politicians out there.
Don't you have to actually kill the dog, though?
That's true, and then write a book about it.
Yeah.
Put it on
my
the top
quote.
of your car.
My quote is a fun line. It's another like added line after, and you could just tell. But he's in the parachute, and he goes, "Where's the fucking door?"
Yeah, I do like that.
It works.
Ish.
It works.
It's all right.
Just a throwaway line.
That's the thing. Like, so the sort of the lines that are like the fucking hell. Why can I not think of the word? Words are just escaping me. But like, you know, the off the cuff remarks and everything that are made throughout this. They feel more scripted in this one than they did in the first one. I know there was a bit more ad-libbing going on in the first one, but like a lot of the lines just feel like, oh, let's put like a Marvel film. Oh, let's put a bit of a one-liner in there somewhere. Oh, look at this one, this funny one-liner.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of one-liners, I guess I was wrong about you. You're not such an asshole after all. Oh, you were right. I'm just your kind of asshole.
There it is.
I do like that one.
That's a good one.
I like that. I like that one more because I use that. Yeah. I still use that to this day, and it's like I didn't know where I got it from. It's one of those things where I just say that, like, you know, when like people have said like, "Oh, you're an asshole." It's like, yeah, but I'm your kind of asshole. Like, you know, I've say that kind of stuff all the time. Like, if someone insults me, I'm like, yeah, but you know, I'm your kind of asshole. That's why you love me.
Yeah, that one. That's not a bad line. Like, it's that one works.
The funny thing is, it's like it's supposed to build camaraderie, but it's immediate where everyone goes, "You're
oh,
wrong."
So you're the bad guy. Got it. Yep.
But that said, like it leads into his sort of begrudging respect for John McClane that doesn't seem to go anywhere. You know.
Yeah, the only guy doesn't seem to have that.
He doesn't really.
Yeah, he's going to betray him. Yeah.
He's going to betray them.
The only guy who never really gains that respect from him is the Dennis Franz of it all. Like he never really gets on John McClane's side to the very, very end, and then then he's kind of there.
Is this your parking ticket?
Oh, I hated that.
That was
that feels like a reshoot as well.
Yeah,
we need something with Dennis Franz at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, that one didn't work. But that's they tried.
Did they?
I don't know.
I think the studio just was like, put something with him. We need to have we need everything to be wrapped up in a nice neat little bow, and everyone's got to love John McClane by the end.
I think I would have liked it better if they just still never liked him. It's like, yeah, whatever. You're still an asshole, and walks away. It's like, because he would have been right. John McClane is an asshole. That still would have worked, but whatever.
Yeah, the reunion thing works in the first one because they've had a camaraderie in the entire time.
Yeah. They've had that relationship. The relationship has been built up.
Yeah. All right. I think we've done it.
Like, Powell and McClane like each other in the first one as well, which is why that's works.
True. They always they never get there.
Even his brother.
Even his brother fucking hates him.
He's here to save the day, and they just crash straight into a taxi.
Yep.
That was
way to go, guys. You nailed it. All right. I think we've done it. I don't really feel like doing plugs this week. Does anybody feel like doing plugs?
Yeah.
Anything got really worth plugging? Me neither. So next week we will talk Die Hard with a Vengeance. Not Die Hardist or whatever they were going to try to call it, but Die Hard with a Vengeance. Die Hard 3.
I'm so glad they didn't go Die Hardist. That is an awful title.
That would have been real bad. Although I believe they talked about that one for the 5th one, but they ended up with Good Day to Die Hard, which is also terrible.
That is only a good title if he fights Klingons, and he didn't fight Klingons, and I'm very disappointed in that.
No, he fights Russians. Is that it?
Yeah,
apparently so.
It's Russians in the 5th one. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a very long time.
It's generic Eastern European people.
Thank you. Okay, got it. But next week is actually a great one.
European accent.
It's gonna go great. Next week's really, really good. I love 3 a lot. It's a really, really good movie. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then we got 2 more after that. So yeah, there's 5 of these things. I can count. Don't worry about me. All right, bye.
Bye. Did you get that?